Hi guys, and welcome to Roofless in Colloquium, another week of tutorials and lessons, and we're so excited that you are joining us or watching us if you just registered on our website. Today we're going to talk about yellow paint. We used yellow this past Friday on our webinar where we painted the container, the plastic yellow container. We used yellow when we did the study at the site this weekend. And so as promised, we went to the store, we got some more extra yellow, and we also got to talk with someone at the store. We went to Blake on Beverly, and there are a couple of employees there. I mean, they're artists and they're amazing, and they have been there for a very long time, and we have established good friendships with them. One of them, her name is Sandra, and if you go to Blake on Beverly and Sandra is there, just tell her hello and that you are part of Roofless Painters, because she knows about us and she's amazing. She has great knowledge. So I just stood in front of the oil painting wall and then kind of like reading all the colors, and I have a little bit of an idea, but she happened to be there and she gave me invaluable information. So I'm going to switch. Hi, Jen. How are you? Blake Beverly on Beverly. And let's do this. We got
Let's do it.
4, 5, 6, 7 freaking yellows. Okay, I'm going to start with the 3 cadmiums right here. We're going to categorize them by heavy metal, and then we brought alternatives. We want to talk about toxicity. We want to talk about transparency, why yellow is such a particular color to work with. But these are the 3 cadmium yellows from Gamblin: cadmium yellow light, cadmium yellow medium, cadmium yellow deep. The difference between the 3 of them, it's the temperature, the warmth. We talked during the webinar that it's better to have something without warm and warm it up than to have a yellow that's in between. We mentioned that when we had no idea about yellows and we were in front of that shelf, we just picked this one because we thought, okay, well, this medium Goldilocks style, not too cold, not too warm, so that's gonna be it. And now we learn and we realize that it's better to have a light yellow, and you can always change it to warmer. It's not going to be the same, but it's, if you have to choose between those 3, choose the lighter. There's a cadmium lemon yellow that it's gorgeous. There's a cadmium chartreuse that's gorgeous, but we just limited our budget and we got like a 2.5 of sorts. So this one right here, it's a new color that we got, and we are excited about this, but we're going to explain exactly why, the pros and the cons. Hansa yellow light. Hansa yellow, it's a very popular color, I would say, among the purists. And some people rave about this color. We listen to painters saying that it's their favorite yellow. And we're going to explain exactly how this works. They have Hansa yellow light, Hansa yellow medium, Hansa yellow deep. So same range, but it's not cadmium base. So then we just changed the part of the aisle, and we got the cadmium-free Utrecht. So there's this brand. Blake owns this brand, by the way. It's cheaper than Gamblin. And they were the first ones who created a cadmium-free yellow cadmium series. So we put Utrecht cadmium-free lemon yellow. So this, it's similar to the cadmium yellow light, but it should be a little bit lighter. Then we brought Naples yellow right here. So this is yellow that it's cadmium-free. Yes, it's cadmium-free. It has titanium base, and yeah, it has an oxide. So this is not toxic. This is not toxic. The Hansa yellow is not toxic. So talking with Sandra, she told us that a lot of people that are concerned with cadmium, which is a toxic metal, they choose Hansa yellow instead, or they go to the Utrecht brand and they use cadmium-free yellow. Um, so yeah, this one is Naples yellow, and then we just went to the potato shelf of yellows, I guess, of or oil. So there's this brand Williamsburg. It's made in U.S. also, from Brooklyn, and from Brooklyn, right? Yes. And it's handmade. It's very expensive, high pigmentation. We don't own any Williamsburg in our set because they're very expensive. But she just pointed, Sandra said, you know what? I like this color a lot. It's called bismuth vanadase yellow. Let me see. I'm not going to put it in the chat, but because when we record this, it's not going to be available. But anyhow, bismuth, it's a material, an organic material. The bismuth stone is gorgeous. And I wonder, it's the bismuth stone is the product that they take when they make Pepto-Bismol. So there's bismuth in that pink syrup that comes from that rock. I didn't know that the rock is gorgeous. It's just like has a lot of colors and it's beautiful. I didn't know there was a bismuth that, or maybe there's a bismuth that is yellow, or maybe they just get the yellow pigment out of the bismuth. That we don't know. But yeah, bismuth vanadase yellow. This was $33, and it was a tube that it was 37 milliliters or 1.2 ounces. So we did not purchase this color. We almost did because we thought it's expensive and it's behind glass, so it must be good. We're so happy we didn't get it because this doesn't look like that spectacular, to be honest with you. All right, we have the three primary neutrals: titanium white, Portland gray medium, chromatic black. That's it. I think we're going to make the switch this week. Chromatic black is going to be our black because it's so good. The first thing that I'm going to do really quickly is play with the transparency, because I want you to, we want to show you how the cadmium is the ingredient in the color that makes the color opaque. It's the cadmium. So, and this one was Utrecht cadmium-free. And actually this one has bismuth also. So we got one for $8, which has bismuth. And then this one has was $33. So yeah, definitely not. So you can see already that this hansa yellow light and this cadmium yellow light, there's much more opacity with this yellow. What's the problem with yellow? Yellow is a very pale color. It's the most difficult color to paint with. Why? Because when you apply it on a surface that is wet, it very quickly, it picks up some of the pigment underneath, and then it kind of like churns that yellow into something else. It's very, very easy to make yellow paint look like green just because there's paint or pigment underneath. But if you have cadmium in it, the opacity is much stronger, and then you can make really, really solid opaque yellows on top of any surface. It's easier. Hansa yellow, not toxic, non-toxic, cadmium-free, but it has more transparency. So that's the advantage and the disadvantage. Luckily, there's this Utrecht brand, and I don't know how long, because Gambling already changed the tubes, and this has been with us for a very long time. But I can tell you that when we finish this yellow, we're just gonna phase out the cadmium slowly. Talking with Sandra, she has so much knowledge at Blake on Beverly that we thought it would be a good idea to phase out any colors that may contain a label that says, warning, this causes cancer. And cadmiums are one of those. So anyhow, we take care. We use gloves sometimes, but I feel like it would be a good idea to make an effort to go towards the least toxic option. So there you have it. Okay, I'm just gonna bring white, and I'm gonna do a little, oops, maybe I should do the cadmium yellow transparency on the cadmium yellow medium, transparency on the cadmium yellow deep. This is a gorgeous color. This is the color of the new era of yellows, turmeric. I don't know how many names, but we saw this article and everyone all of a sudden is thinking of this color right here. And light yellow ochre, transparency on Naples yellow, which has titanium white. So this is a also very opaque color. Great for flesh tones, for example. And the transparency on this bismuth vanadase yellow. So yeah, it's not, it doesn't really makes us gasp, if you ask me. I'm gonna bring some titanium white and let's do a tint with the cadmium yellow medium. I'm gonna do a tint with the cadmium yellow deep. And you'll notice that there's a difference of intensity of temperature. So yeah, this is a very, there's a reason why we chose this. We still feel like this is a pretty good color, but when we finished that tube, we went immediately to cadmium yellow light. It's the yellow that we tend to put first, but as we noticed when we did the studies, it's not the only yellow. We used a lot of these other cadmiums and they work really well. So I'm gonna do a tint with the Hansa yellow light. And the reason why I want to do this is because we want to put it to a test. Can the Hansa yellow tint have a similar opacity as the cadmium yellow? Will it work as an alternative to the cadmium yellow? Because that's one of the reasons why people use it. One of the main reasons, because it's cadmium free. So, and I think, you know, there's more intensity with a cadmium yellow, but there's no reason why this shouldn't be a good alternative. So comparison between these two, the cadmium yellow light and the Hansa yellow light, without any tints, there's more transparency here. This is a very challenging color to paint with. I can tell you right now, this transparency doesn't bode very well when you apply this color over a surface that has already color. It's just gonna create a tarnished green effect. So bringing some white can improve that. We can get that close to cadmium yellow, so it could be a good alternative. But we feel like after doing this, the best possible alternative, and I think we had this color before, right, Jen? I think we had the Utrecht yellows before.
Yeah, I think we have.
Did we run out of them?
I think they might be in our emergency kit. We kind of
check it out.
We went brand loyal with Gamblin.
I'm gonna check it out because I know that Gamblin has a statement on the website saying that the toxicity is very relative or something like that. I don't know. I know that we had them. We bought a couple, or maybe the three. The cadmiums are orange, yellow, and red. Those are the most popular. So I think, anyhow, Utrecht tint, amazing. It has great pigmentation and it has great coverage. So, and this is, by the way, not even yellow light. It's lemon yellow. So it's supposed to be a little bit lighter than this one, pigmentation wise. So this is a winner in price. It's a winner in less toxicity or no toxicity because there's no warning label on this one. Because when the tubes changed, they started to put more visible and additional warning labels. I think this one right here has a single warning label, but then I checked the new tubes and they have 3 instead of 1. So anyhow, so yeah, price, coverage, no toxicity. This is the way to go. You track, yes. If you prefer to stay within the same gambling, we would kind of like have to jump to the Hansa yellow series, but just be aware that the transparency may be an issue. You'll have to make tints. I'm gonna do a quick, yeah, let me just do a tint with the Naples yellow, great for highlights on flesh tones. And I'm gonna do a tint. I don't even know why I'm doing a tint with a bismuth because it's pretty light. Another thing that I noticed when Sandra was explaining the colors is that she had a much more appreciation with single pigment paint. Paint that has a single source of pigment rather than pigment that it's blended by 2 or 3 or more than one pigment. So it seems like she put an emphasis on single pigmentation as a core or a principal paint to have, rather than just use additional or acquire other pigments that combine plus one pigments to create a new color. So I'm gonna do, I have time, we have 10 minutes. So I'm just gonna do a quick tone with gray. And this is actually very good because with the tone, you'll see more or less what happens when the color gets picked up, when the yellow pigment, how it reacts with other colors. And this is good because it's neutral, but this is green. You can make green with yellow and gray, not necessarily blue. Contemplate this option because it makes beautiful desaturated greens, yellow and gray. How about that? So this possibly would be the alchemy lesson or demonstration of the day. Cadmium. This is a gorgeous color too. This is beautiful, actually. And again, the opacity, there's opacity here. There's titanium, I believe, on this gray. So naturally, the opacity is highly, highly appreciated when you paint with yellow. And then I'm just gonna do a tone with the cadmium yellow deep. So these two colors are absolutely gorgeous, if you ask me. This one has more of a look of making a mistake. I shouldn't say the word mistake. Just putting yellow on top of something and not knowing exactly what's going to happen. But still, this could be a great yellow for highlights of botanical elements. And I'm already getting like some yellow on my skin. And after the conversation with Sandra, I'm kind of like, I'm not freaking out, but I think we're going to start moving the yellows, the cadmiums. Yeah, we shouldn't be concerned at all unless you have a condition. Obviously, then it would be different. But Hansa yellow with gray, making a tone. This is because of the transparency of the Hansa. It makes a beautiful, beautiful color. Look what happens with the yellows when you mix them with neutrals, with what we call primary neutrals. It creates a range of colors that is totally different and very rich and very interesting. These are more applicable to painting than the raw material, obviously. So really quickly, I'm just gonna do tone with the Utrecht cadmium-free. They're also very beautiful, maybe even works a little bit better than cadmium yellow. So another plus, this is gaining a lot of good marks in our book. So another yellow that's a little bit warmer, it's more like salmon mixed with, this is the Naples yellow. Beautiful color as well. This is also a fantastic color for this. Makes like almost like skin tone, light skin tone or highlights. Naples yellow and gray. Sometimes when we make like flesh tones, we kind of like start putting a bunch of pigments, and it's good to do a study and see that with a very limited amount of colors, you can create a lot of things. Bismuth, I think that's the pronunciation, with gray. I don't know. I feel like this, yeah, no, it's not worth $33 if you ask us. Unless you want to say that you have bismuth vanadase yellow and then sounds super fancy. I don't think it's worth the price. And finally, we're gonna do a shade with a chromatic black. Let me see if we can get this right. Light color first, a tiny bit of this is why the chromatic black is such a great black, because it doesn't overpower the mixture immediately. I was able to make this color without risking too much, because chromatic black is very transparent. So because of that transparency, it's safer when you mix it with other colors, and it doesn't reduce the pigmentation. This is a perfect example why chromatic black is such a great black to have. So talk about chartreuse green. You can make green with yellow and black. You know, we have experienced this before. Even when we were outside on Sunday, we talked about it and how you can make green with yellow and black. I'm gonna do a tint with cadmium yellow medium and a tiny bit of the chromatic black. And boom, you get also a very, I don't know what color this would be. We didn't do the experiment with the color cards, but I'm gonna do it with cadmium yellow deep and chromatic black. And we can have a comparison. This is a beautiful color as well. The most chromatic or the higher pigmentation, I would say, is obviously the medium yellow. So three fantastic shades. You can paint trees with this. There's a beautiful painting of an artist who painted a lemon tree, and she used different shades of yellow, and she only used yellows and chromatic black, and the painting is absolutely stunning. And she painted the lemons and the leaves and the grass underneath, and there's no sky on the composition. It's stunning. So hansa yellow and chromatic black. Let's do this. There's a little bit of paint, but that's okay. A little bit of chromatic black. Again, a super safe, very good black to have, because it creates shades without sacrificing color too much. If we were to use a different kind of black, this would be a disaster probably. I don't know. We would have to use a very small amount. What did we do earlier? Hansa yellow could be a good substitute for cadmium yellow light in a non-toxic format. I feel like these two comparatively, maybe this one may have a little bit more of a warmer temperature than this one. This feels like a higher pigmentation. There's a lot of like desaturated notes here. Maybe it's the amount of chromatic black, but I don't know. This could be a good non-toxic substitute to cadmium yellow. And the last three, good timing. So always mix the light color first. When you mix something light with something dark, always the lighter first. And then some chromatic black, a wonderful black to make shades. And that's the color that we get, this beautiful green. There's a little bit of reflection, a little bit of a reflection. So I think the shade is not as strong as the shade that we created with the cadmium base and chromatic black. So maybe the shades with the cadmium-free yellow may not be as lustrous and pigmented. Yeah, I think that's it. That's possibly, it's a little bit weaker when it comes down to shades compared to this one's. Good to explore and isolate mixtures. So I'm gonna put more chromatic black and see if it's just the shade. No, it's not as I could see there's more luminosity with this one. This is a little bit more tepid and measured. So that could be the only downside of Utrecht, but I feel like the rest of the check boxes are so good. Price, opacity, pigmentation, tint, and non-toxicity, that it's okay if it doesn't feel as lustrous when you do a shade. It's just good to have that in mind, but yeah. Naples yellow with chromatic black, always lighter first and then brings, oh, nice. This is a beautiful gray. Okay, so this makes a very, a very tarnished gray. It's a gorgeous color, actually. It's a nice way to make gray, a colorful gray, I would say, maybe for a cast shadow on linen or something like a light fabric. This could be a really great, they don't have, Gambling doesn't have a cadmium-free line. They don't have it. So yeah. And finally, this bismuth. And I didn't have time, I don't know, Jen, but I didn't have time to find out if the bismuth, if bismuth is toxic. I don't think so, because we drink it in the form of Pepto-Bismol. And the bis in bismuth, it's the bismol in Pepto-Bismol. There is a mineral there. There's a metal or a stone. I think it's a metal. I don't know exactly, bismuth. It's a very alien-like material. So I'm thinking that this is not toxic because I couldn't grab it and look at the label. I don't know if there were any warning things, but
I'm trying to find it.
okay. All right. So yeah, I know that. So this is a color that I feel like this, we could just use ecru and titanium white, and we could get something that, you know, it's similar to this. I don't even know what the heck. You know, they're trying to fool people. Well, they almost fooled me, because I wanted to buy it because it was 33 bucks and behind plexiglass with a lock. So I thought, you know, I must have it. So now that I'm just exploring this, I don't know. I don't think that it's that spectacular. In conclusion, and I'm glad we kind of like keeping it like 30 minutes. Main themes that came out of this whole experience, we made the decision to start phasing out any cadmium-based paint. We're not worried about toxicity because I feel like you need to have a cut on your skin. You need to, I don't know, just it needs to be on your hands. You need to eat with your hands with paint. I mean, it's possible, but I feel like there are other places where we can get the same toxicity. When we pump gas, we get exposed to heavy metals. When we use beauty products, we get exposed. When we eat certain foods, we get exposed. So we always found that there's a relative balance between toxicity, and we feel like it's unfair to single out one element and say, I'm not going to paint in oil because it's toxic, when we get an overload of pollution and plastic in our system of things that are around us. It's, you know, I think it's not fair. But at the same time, I feel like there's no, that doesn't mean like we should maybe take a stand and slowly move towards pigments that we know for sure they don't have a warning and they're not cancer causing. So that would be the reason why when we finish this enormous tube of cadmium yellow light, or when we get, I don't know, some sort of like gift for Christmas, we will replace the yellow light and then we will move towards alternatives. I can see this color right here that you track. It's not as yellow, but let's not forget, this is lemon yellow. This is cadmium yellow light. They don't have cadmium-free yellow light on U-Track. So this could be an alternative. We're gonna either switch to this, or we're gonna just go to the Hansas, the Hansa yellow. Okay, thanks. Bismuth is not toxic. They have other yellows, by the way, the Williamsburg, but that's going to be when we find a sponsor or something, you know, that someone buys this for us, but I don't know, or we need it for whatever reason. So this is Gambling right here. This is Williamsburg, and this is U-Track. So U-Track, Gambling, Williamsburg. U-Track has good pigments, you know. We're gonna just go for this cadmium-free line or go for the Hansa yellows. They have 3 ranges, so maybe slowly we'll get this one and the next one will be the medium. Another thing is that you can get great tones with these colors that could be applied to botanical elements. And also, I love the shades that you get with chromatic black and yellow. You don't need green to make beautiful greens. In fact, when you put green out of a tube, it's too much. Maybe we should just use yellow instead and bring a little bit of black. I think that's going to be our new way of making greens. We hope you enjoyed this presentation. We're going to stop the recording and then we're just going to open the microphones and have a conversation about it. And then we can just, we have a new album of images from Sunday. We're going to share with you guys, but thank you so much. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to stop the recording. And thanks for watching this. We have more tutorials on our website, so please check that out.